The following program contains names, places, and events that have been anonymized or fictionalized for the purposes of protection and safety. The following program is provided for entertainment purposes only, and any commentary from the hosts are strictly conjecture and should not be held as making any definitive statements about the truth or identity of any particular individuals or circumstances. If you or a loved one are involved in an abusive relationship, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1 800 799 7233 for support.
Happy
Hello.
Dating Detectives Monday. Ha.
Are you a mermaid? Your hair is giving mermaid. It's like beautiful beachy waves.
I used a new waiver. I created a Barbie look, a totally hair Barbie look.
Oh,
And
amazing.
and I did an Ulta haul and got a new waiver that I wanted to try. And I never had
It's
good
good.
experience with waivers, but I found one that I really like. So I was really excited.
Plug it. I want to know.
It's the Babyliss Nano Titanium, whatever, but it's the bigger waiver. But it's
Okay.
yeah, it's
Because I have
really
thick
good.
hair. So when I use a waiver, it just goes out rather
Oh,
than down.
yeah. They
For
have
me,
a smaller one. Try the smaller one so you get the smaller waves. Your hair's so pretty though. I love the color.
Aw,
So
thanks.
I like the red a lot.
Guys, we're just going to compliment each other for the rest of the episode to do a palate cleanser
Right?
and not break your heart.
Kind of take a break from some of the heavier stuff and just be nice.
Well, we do have a Mackenzie Undercover today, so I'm excited because those are great and fun and palate cleansers.
Yes, and we have other good news. So, first of all, the merch is available. We made it available for the last week because everybody was like, bring the merch back. So, today's the last day, but we did bring the merch back. So, you still have today as your last day to pick up any Dating Detectives merch.
I'm like trying to show you that didn't work. I'm trying to show you that I'm wearing the sweatpants, but
I like the sweatpants. They're really cute.
it's really good quality stuff. So
And guess what? Guess what? Guess what?
I'm
We
so
have
excited.
something new for you guys. Hannah, tell us what it is.
So a lot of you have been asking if we could do this, and we figured it out. So we are now offering a new tier on Patreon that will be ad-free. So if you are someone who wants to, just skip through the ads, which I get it, although we always advertise with companies that we really like and products we really like and try to do our best. That's how we make our podcast. But
Mhm.
if you want to join Patreon and listen to all the episodes without ads, it'll be $9 a month. It gets you everything that's already in Patreon. So if you're already a subscriber, you just bump up and do $9 a month instead of $5. And if you're new to it and you join the $9 a month, you'll still get book club, early access to merch, live streams with us,
The 2 bonus episodes.
bonus episodes,
And now ad free.
and now ad free.
So feel free to join us on Patreon. Your support means the world to us. We are just so grateful that you guys have contributed to the Dating Detectives, and you guys have contributed to us, which has allowed us to create more content and more shows and talk to more guests, which in turn inspires other guests. And it's just this big circle of like love and kindness and happiness. And we love it.
Big circle of love.
Yeah,
I love it. You should join the
support.
Patreon. I got a text this morning I want to tell you before we get into the story because it made my day. And it
Oh.
feels like it's representative of the type of people who are also in Patreon. Okay, ready? My friend from way back in the day texted me this morning, the greatest thing. Hi, Hannah Anderson. I need help internet sleuthing, and I just know you're the person I need.
They would be right.
And I was like, yes. And sure enough, she met a guy at a bar. She didn't even have a first name. She had what he did for a living and the neighborhood he lived in, and the fact that he also went to the same sleepaway camp as I went to when I was a kid.
What?
But I found him.
Wow. Of course
Obviously.
you did.
I would have to turn my mic in if I didn't find him. Sleuths
You're so
forever.
good at that. And it's definitely
Well,
sleuthing and investigating.
Yeah, totally. I was just tapping the network, looking on Facebook, like helping her find her future husband. But that's the type of thing that we do for each other. We're girls over in the Patreon, and we help each other
100%.
find the good as well as the bad.
Yes.
But I was very proud.
I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. I love that they said, hello, Hannah Anderson.
Yeah, I hadn't talked to her
Hello,
in years.
Clarice.
I was like, yep, came to the right place.
Very matter of fact.
What do you have for me today?
So, yeah, we have Mackenzie Undercover, which if you're new here, Mackenzie Undercover is basically just a story from one of my PI cases. I've been a PI for 20 years, and so I like to share some of these stories. But it's an interesting veer away from our normal guests telling their stories and in the world of dogfish, and they're really interesting. It's how the whole dating detectives, kind of got started and took off was with some of these stories, and so it's fun to share those with you and my life as a PI and just hear what your thoughts are on some of these stories that are too crazy to think they could actually be real, but they are. So, this is one of my very first cases, like within the first year of being a PI. So,
Wow.
this is 19 years ago. Okay. A long, long, long time ago. So, I get a call from this guy. So, my client is a 40-something-year-old man and he has 2 small kids with his ex-wife. They're going through a kind of a nasty custody battle, and he's trying to prove that she's crazy as a bed bug.
Okay. So this is not that she's cheating. He's like, I am calling you to follow my crazy wife.
And they're fully divorced. So I get on the phone with this guy, and he basically has this ex-wife. He has kids with this ex-wife. He's remarried now. Fella wants to move on with his life. They already have a custody agreement, right? But he wants to get his kids more. So now that he's, more established in this new life with this new lady, he wants to get his kids
Like
more.
have more time
Well,
with them.
baby,
And so
yeah,
new
like he
custody
wants to have
agreement.
more custody with them. Well, baby mama don't like it. So she's mad and she starts vandalizing his cars and
Oh,
like starts, yeah. So she just wants to punish him basically. And then one of the times she had slashed his tires, right? And it was a night when he was supposed to get the kids. And then whenever he couldn't get in the car to get the kids because he realized my tires are flat, she was like, "Oh, you said you want this custody and now you can't even show up." So it's like she's creating these problems for him to
mm.
make it so that he can't even show up to get them. So she's punishing him basically.
And trying to sabotage his claim for more
She is a
a
saboteur.
saboteur.
So he said that his ex-wife would vandalize his car, vandalize his home, like
Ooh.
key the car, slash the tires. And he couldn't prove that it was her, which is mostly the problem, right? Like if you're trying to prove that she's an unfit mom, like he's trying to basically say she's crazy and she's doing these things to me. What else will she do? And what is she doing when she has my kids? These are all times that he doesn't even have the kids. So she's obviously like, she either has the kids with her, whatever. So he couldn't prove that it was her. But like I said, he's remarried. Okay. They have a baby on the way. They're basically at their wits' end. They're like, we're trying to move on. And this girl just is nonstop. So he's trying to do everything he can to prove whatever. So go ahead.
I just want to hear what you like, how you said yes to the case, because there's a world in which it's like, well, did you do something to deserve getting your car keyed? Not that anyone should do that. But you know what I mean? How sometimes you take cases or sometimes you're like, I don't know, this sounds too messy.
Yeah, and there are cases that are really messy, but the reason that I liked this one was because he came to me under advice of counsel. They said, "You need to
Oh,
hire a PI, you need," and
mm.
so he actually contacted me and CC'd his attorney. So I felt more safe knowing that he's under the advice
They're
of
building
counsel.
a
He's,
legitimate case.
yeah, like he's trying to do the right thing, whatever. Let me introduce you to Delete Me. If you're not new here, by the way, I'm not introducing it to you. You've heard me talk about it before. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. It is easier than ever to find personal information about people online. I am a private investigator. I would know having your address, phone number, family members' names hanging out on the internet all willy nilly can have actual consequences in the real world and makes everyone vulnerable. And when I say actual consequences, I'm talking about people that use this information for not good things. With Delete Me, you can protect your personal privacy or the privacy of your business from doxing attacks before sensitive information can be exploited. I have an active online presence and privacy is really important to me, especially because I know as a PI what it can mean for your privacy. So take control of your data, keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/dating detectives and use promo code TDD at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is go to joindeleteme.com/dating detectives and enter code TDD at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/dating detectives, code TDD. Love you. Bye.
Guys, one of my favorite parts of a healthy relationship is being able to share everything with a partner, including your fantasies. And if you can't do that comfortably, I think it's a red flag. There, I'm going to say it. I love Dipsy, which we get to talk about a lot because they've been sponsoring us for a while and I've used them long before they were doing ads with us because it sets the mood. It helps you explore your own desires. Dipsy is a female-founded app for spicy audiobooks and way more. It is created by women for the female gaze. It has something for everybody, whatever you're into, whoever you are, truly, however many people you want involved. If you want fantasy, they've got gods of the underworld. Like I'm telling you, whatever you're into or think you might be into, there's an option. And the app has truly over 1,000 spicy audiobooks by a team of professional writers and top tier narrators that are not cringe, I promise. And I have a low tolerance for cringe in this department, especially. I've talked to some of you at our book club about some of the audiobook voices that were like, not into it. This one, I've never experienced it. In fact, the accents, don't get me started. The app is so easy to explore. You can search for your favorite genre, your historical, dark, sapphic, romantasy, whatever. And they release new chapters every week, so you will always find something and you will never get bored. They also have some wellness options. You can listen to meditations, breath work, some guided self-touch, self-love guides. You know, they're better at it than I am, but I just love it as a way to get in touch with yourself because we think sexual health is part of general health and wellness. So we're into that. And right now you can get a 30-day free trial plus 25% off your annual subscription when you go to dipsystories.com/TDD. That's DIPSEA stories.com/TDD for 30 free days and 25% off your subscription. dipsystories.com/TDD.
So when talking to him, the attorney had told him, reach out to a private investigator. And I told him, I said, that's the right thing to do. Basically, hiring surveillance is the best bet because you can actually, hopefully, the goal is to observe her doing these things to show that legally he's hired a private investigator. If he were to do it himself or have a friend go do it, it's illegal because it's unlicensed activity and it can get thrown out and you can get in trouble for stalking and
Yeah,
harassment.
say that again. Just say that again for the people in the back.
You can't do it on your own because it's illegal and unlicensed activity. You have to hire someone who is licensed or whatever the guidelines are in your state. Like you have to hire someone that's legal.
What if she's like keying his car in his front lawn? You know what I mean? Like what if it's on his property and he got a video of it? Would that be credible evidence?
Totally.
Okay, so that's fine. You're allowed to do it unless it's public property.
If someone's in your yard and you're videotaping them do this, if you're going out of your way to try and find someone or locate them or observe what they're doing, that's called stalking by pure definition, right? Unless you're licensed. So I follow her to find out exactly what she's up to. So the first day of surveillance, I start early in the morning as per usual, and she starts her routine. She's getting the kids in the car. And I'm like, okay, she's taking them to school. They've got backpacks. They're loading up, the morning routine. So she drives to the school. She pulls into the parking lot. She sits for a few minutes in the parking lot. Now, I know a lot of us are moms and we take our kids to school and pick them up in the car line. Who goes to the parking lot? Like very few people actually go into the parking lot, sit and let the kids out. And I thought it was really weird, but it's the first day on the case. So let me just get a feel for her habits and what she does. And so I'm like, okay, first day on the case, I don't want to get burned by getting too close or whatever. So I kind of stay out of view and just kind of watch from a distance, right? Mm-hmm. So she takes them to school. She sits in the parking lot, sits for a few minutes. The kids get out. And again, I thought it was really weird because why not car line? But it's day one. So whatever.
She doesn't get out with them. She just sits in the car.
Yep. She sits in the car and you can see that she's moving about, like, I don't know, maybe signing permissions. So like maybe it's one of those things where, oh, I forgot to give you money for book fair or whatever.
Yeah.
And so fine. Like I didn't think anything of it, but in my brain, it's noted. So As my client suspected, she heads to his workplace. But that day, his car wasn't there. He had taken the day off because we had discussed it. And I told him, stay home on the first day of surveillance so that you'll be available to me, because he was really adamant that he wanted to know what was going on throughout the day. Which normally I'm like, no, I will
Yeah,
tell you what goes on
normally.
at the end of the surveillance. But because we were working so closely with his attorney and we wanted like real time, like if he had to file an emergency injunction, they wanted real time information so that they could, if it's an emergency to him, he has to he has to show how willing he is to like to pursue this
Right.
legally. So if it's that important to him,
Because if
then
he
he's going to
waits, they
say
might be like, why'd you let your kids stay with her for a week? I get it.
exactly. So we decided he could stay home, and then if he had to take action, he could do it right away. He could update his attorney in real time, whatever.
Mm.
So she decides to go to the client's workplace. His car isn't there. And I told him, I said, okay, she's at your workplace and the parking lot's pretty small. She drives through, she doesn't see the car, so she leaves. And I'm like, oh, whew, well, bullet dodge. But then I was kind of hoping, like, man, I wish his car was there so we could observe something.
Yeah, because if she had just keyed it and left, that would be a quick, easy, got it.
Yeah, then we could prove it. But she decides that she's going to go to the wife's workplace to stalk her instead. So I was like,
Oh,
okay,
dear.
we might not have missed very much after all.
That's even, I feel like, better evidence to get her going after the new wife.
Right? So she goes to the wife's workplace. Okay. She pulls into a parking space. She's sitting there about 5 minutes. Well, she gets out of the car and I'm like, oh no, is she going in? Is she going, like, she parks far away from the wife's car? Well, she gets out of her car and I see there's something in her hand, but I can't tell what it is. And it's yellow. And I'm like,
Huh.
what is she? Is that a Nerf gun? Like, what is that? Like, what is going on? And it's
No.
this yellow, like maybe the size of like a softball from where I was sitting. It was
It's
like
a banana?
yellow.
She's just having a snack.
So she gets out of her car. She's walking through the parking lot and she walks in the direction of the new wife's car. She gets to the new wife's car and she kind of does one circle around it and she's kind of looking around or whatever.
Now I'm
Y'all,
imagining, I'm like, what are yellow things? Like she could egg the car.
she is just out here like all willy-nilly in front of God. And she stops and she's playing with whatever's in her hand. And now she's playing with it with both hands. I'm like, what is that? I zoom in with my camera. Like, I'm like, what the hell? It is a package of bologna. Oscar Mayer bologna.
She's gonna bologna the car?
She bologna's the car. So I don't know if you guys know this, but and don't ever do this because this is a crime. But you can vandalize someone's car with bologna. It will eat the paint. And we're in the Florida sun. And so it's really hot. And
I
it's something
did
about the
not know that.
yeah. So I don't know if it's still a thing now. Like I'm sure like paint and technology has
They
improved.
went
Like,
back to the drawing board and were like, guys, we need to make our paint bologna proof.
right?
This is a big mix up.
So she starts putting all the bologna circles on the wife's car. So she is like putting it in like, the like on a domino on a dice, it has the 5 dots for the number 5. Like she's making
Yes.
like dice numbers with it. Like she puts a 5, like
So
a
she's
5
having a
dice on
little
the hood.
fun. It's like a little abstract art project.
Yeah, and then she does polka dots on the doors. She's putting it on the roof, on the trunk. She's putting bologna all over the car, okay? Like
I
the
cannot.
whole package. I would like to add that she did not stop anywhere to pick up this package of bologna. She already had it. So can we say premeditated?
100%. Also,
Yeah.
it was closed, it sounds like. She opened up the yellow top thing.
100%.
I'm like, it's not the lunch meat for the kids' lunch. This is for this.
She had to unsticky it for sure, okay? Like she left her house with this bologna.
And this is in front of God and everybody, like right
In
out
front of
in the
everybody.
light. No one's saying anything.
Not a huge place, but nobody was out looking. Like it's in this like industrial area.
Try Simply Pop. I already loved Simply products. You've seen them like the lemonade. They're so good. Simply has launched a new prebiotic soda, Simply Pop, the new juicy soda. They've got 5 flavors: pineapple mango, lime, strawberry, citrus punch, and fruit punch. Pineapple mango is my favorite, but I really like them all. And you have to see what the fizz is all about. Okay. Simply Pop is the juicy new soda that happens when you combine delicious real fruit flavors of Simply with 6 grams of prebiotic fiber to support gut health.
It also has vitamin C and zinc, so that supports your immune function, and it tastes really good. So I love that because sometimes I like a little fun special drink to feel like I'm drinking something fun. There's no added sugar, which you just can't beat. You have to try it. Simply Pop's really good. So go to cokeurl.com/simplypop to find out where you can try Simply Pop. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Mental health awareness is growing, but there's still a long way to go. When people hesitate to get help, it doesn't just affect them, it impacts their families, their workplace, their entire community. This comes up on our show a lot, and it's also Mental Health Awareness Month. So I want to encourage everyone to take care of their well being and break that stigma because the world is better when people are healthy and happy. And I think everybody deserves it, even if they're afraid of judgment or afraid of the unknown, because that's part of getting help is getting out of your comfort zone. It's scary. I've been there. I've been in therapy a long time, sometimes when I feel like I need it, sometimes when I don't feel like I need it. It's just really nice to have somebody there as part of the support system. I kind of think of them as like my team behind the scenes, like, your primary care physician, your therapist, just like your squad that's helping you day to day. And then when I do run into obstacles, this is somebody who already knows me and supports me and is there for me in a really professional way. And I don't have to put that burden on other people. I think one of the biggest barriers for people is time and money. Therapy is hard to get into sometimes. It's hard to find a therapist. Sometimes it feels like dating. BetterHelp is a really great step in getting a therapist because it makes it easy. They have over 10 years of experience matching people with the right therapist. They have a diverse network, more than 30,000 licensed therapists, and it's really easy to try one, maybe change, see who's available, and choose based on your needs specifically. It's also fully online, so it makes therapy affordable and convenient. If your schedule's wonky, you could meet with somebody whenever you need to, weekends, early, late. There's always somebody available on BetterHelp. It serves over 5 million people worldwide. You can easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. I didn't say that, no extra cost. So we are all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/TDD to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TDD.
Well, when she pulled up to the wife's workplace, and I knew because my client, we had discussed it, I knew that the wife was at work. And for safety reasons, I went ahead and told him, I said, hey, she's pulling up to the wife's work. Like she's pulled down the road to the wife's work. I just want to let you know. And so I didn't know what to tell him as I'm on the phone with him and as she gets out of the car. Because I'm on the phone with him and I go dead silent. And I'm like, what the hell's in her hand? I couldn't figure it out. Right.
Right.
So he's like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. Hold on a minute. I have no idea. And so he hears me saying like, what the hell? What's going on? What is that? Talking to myself. And he's like, what is it? And so I'm worried for the wife. What is she going to do? Is she going to go in there, hold the place up with a Nerf gun? Like, what's going on? I didn't know what was going on. Well, by the time she was at the wife's car, he had gotten the wife on the phone, on the other phone. And so he has me in one ear and has her in another ear. Well, he's telling her what's going on as I'm telling him. Well, she calls the cops from inside her workplace. And mind you, when you call the cops, they don't come instantly. Like this, it takes a while.
Especially if it's like someone's putting bologna on my car. They're like, we have a few people in front of you, but we will
right?
get to
Like,
that as soon as we can.
Please stand by in the queue, like whatever, right? Like at the deli.
Other question, if the wife had been at work and noticed this happening and started videoing from the window, would that be credible evidence in court?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I'm
gonna just ask if you can video from certain different places.
No, it's when you are going out of your way to go find someone else. Like if someone comes to you and you start videotaping, like that's fair game. Like
So
you know what I mean?
If they come to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
but she also, so they're in like this like industrial kind of area. It's like the backside of an industrial building. And there were no windows facing out that way. And remember, this is like almost 20 years ago. There wasn't as many cameras. And so I imagine that now there's probably cameras or whatever, but
it was a lot easier to baloney cars back in the day, everybody. Those were the good old days.
Well, so the wife calls the cops, which is great because you want to make a report of this, right? Like every single time. I don't care if it's baloney or murder. I do not care how little or how big it is. We call the cops. We make a report every single time. You have to, it's just going to bolster your claim, right? And so I was glad that they called the cops.
And there are non-emergency lines too, y'all, if you wanna make a call, but you don't wanna call the
And this is just from my client, like, being on the phone with me and telling me what's going on, but he had told me that because I was giving him a play-by-play, and I was like, "Oh, she did the baloney, she's getting in the car, she's leaving." And I guess the wife had come out to the car, and she took the baloney off, so the car was fine.
that poor wife is just like, "Why did I get
She
involved
goes
with
out there,
this?
and
This
I
wasn't
guess
my
she
problem."
yeah, I guess she had peeled all the like, the car was fine or whatever. So, she doesn't stay long enough for the cops to come, which would have been nice because I had all the evidence right there, they could have whatever. But I did obtain video, there was a report made, it bolsters the claim, so I was happy with that, right? So,
Yeah,
this is good, but it still just shows one instance of, like, being kinda crazy, whatever.
and it's not necessarily like a dangerous thing that she
Yeah, like,
did.
kind of like a, "Oh, this is petty," but how like, does this is this justify her being a bad mom? Whatever. So we still want to get more. And people ask, how do you know when it's enough evidence? You don't. It's for the client to determine whether they want more evidence. And usually if the client goes to their attorney, the attorney will say, "Oh, I'll try to get more based on their
Yeah, I was
knowledge and
gonna say,
experience."
it's
So
nice that they have an attorney working with this.
yeah, exactly. And so the attorney, they've been in court 100,000 times. Like they know what judges are going to expect and what to see, what they want to see or whatever. So one bologna sandwich does not unfit mother
An
make, I guess.
absent mother
Okay.
make.
So
I'm always saying that.
and the kids are at school, so they're safe. So she's not really doing anything to put them in harm's way, I guess.
Unless they didn't
So
get lunch because she used all the bologna.
right? They were starving. So nothing else happens. She goes home and she stays there the rest of the day. And the surveillance ends after a couple hours. She doesn't leave the house again. And we decide we're going to do surveillance the next day to see what else this crazy pants is going to do. Okay. So I go to do surveillance at the same time the next day. She goes to the school, like she pulls up in the elementary school and she parks in the parking lot again. But this time I'm like, why the parking lot? Like this
Yeah,
place is Grand Central Station. When you pull into a school, if you're not in the car line, it's so hard to get in and out. And the parking lot's weird and whatever, right? There's kids
totally.
everywhere and people are walking and the crossing, it's a whole big thing. There's buses, all the things, right? So this time I need to see what she's doing. And it was a Grand Central Station mess, but I pulled my car in there and I was like, I'm gonna park right next to her. So I got as close to her. I got one spot over from her, but I was in SUV, so I could see over the little car next into her car.
Nice.
So
And you
it
have
was
tinted windows, right? Dark windows?
I have tinted windows, but hers weren't that tinted. So once I pulled up next to her, I could see what was going on in the car. And so this time I'm like, if I get busted, I get busted, but I have to find out what she's doing. That's the whole goal. So I can see her inside the car. She's shuffling papers. She's going through the backpacks. And I'm like, gosh, maybe this is an everyday thing, whatever. Well, the kids are in the back seat and I see her reach down in the passenger seat and I clearly see her grab a unicorn lunchbox, like a kid's little like the hard
Yeah.
tens, like the hard metal, whatever. This unicorn lunchbox. And do you remember Lisa Frank? Like I'm 40. I
Do
love Lisa
I
Frank. Like everybody loves Lisa
love.
Frank. So you could tell it's Lisa Frank because it's colorful as all get out.
No,
So
we
she
love it.
puts this lunchbox down in her lap. Okay. And so I couldn't see it, but I saw her put it down in her lap and I'm like, oh, like maybe she's, I don't know, putting like an apple in there. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like maybe she's like, oh, here's an apple. What, like, whatever. So I'm just kind of watching her and I can't really see what she's doing. Well, I'm just videotaping right into her car. And all I see is her taking this lunchbox, holding it like with her fingers underneath and her thumb on top, lifting it evenly up to her nose and just smelling it all the way across in a straight
What?
line, like sniffing the top of it and like moving it under
Oh!
her nose, like across.
Excuse me for that volume, but oh! Wait, were the children in the vehicle?
The kids are still in the car.
She's doing
In the
that.
back seat and she's sniffing, she's smelling this I'm not on my social media, I can say this. She is snorting cocaine off the
Yeah.
top of the lunchbox.
Doing a
Okay.
line on
Doing
Lisa
a
Frank,
literal line. And
on the unicorn.
yes, off Lisa.
Oh,
And
no.
at first I was like, I'm kind of a goody two shoes. Like I'm new to the PI scene.
You were
Like
like, "What is" did she
I'm
wonder if the
like,
sandwich is bad?
I
Like,
know.
maybe
I'm like,
she
that's weird. I wonder why she's smelling that baby's lunchbox like that. What's going on?
Oh my
And then I
goodness.
realized what was happening right there with them little babies, right there in the back seat. And I was like,
Oh, and then she's driving, and we don't know if she was driving with the kids before that?
exactly. And the kids are back there just sitting and just kind of like playing around. Like they're not like looking at her. They're just kind of doing their own thing, like just, waiting to get out of the car or whatever. I think the little boy was like tying his shoes, whatever.
Yeah, she was just like, "Come on, guys, I got things to do, and I need to take mommy needs her candy."
Right? Mommy needs her daily whatever.
That's crazy.
I know. You guys, did you know that when I was in college, I thought credit cards were like magic money because I was a dumb. I thought credit cards are just magic money. And I was like, oh, we can rack this up and buy what I need. And then when it came time to pay it, I was like, uh-oh. So then I was haunted by horrible credit for a long time after that. Anyways, when was the last time you thought about your credit score? Here's the thing, a good score can mean better rates, lower payments, and bigger opportunities. And that's where Ava comes in. So, Ava is a credit building app that makes it super simple to improve your credit fast so you can get better rates on loans, pay off debt faster, and keep more money in your pocket. So instead of waiting for a secured card, Ava is instantaneous. It's simple, affordable. It really works. So most members see their credit go up in less than a week. They give you credit up to $2,500 and you can use it to pay existing bills. And the longer you stick with Ava, the higher your score can go. Joining Ava gives you access to all of Ava's credit building tools starting at just $6 per month. So for just $6 a month, you can potentially save thousands. So it's basically a way to help build your credit in a fast and easy way. It's the highest rated credit building app with thousands of 5-star reviews. Download the Ava app. It's spelled AVA today. And when you join using our promo code DATING, you'll get your first month free. This offer is only for our listeners. Get the Ava app, use promo code DATING to get your first month. That's promo code DATING. Thanks to Ava. And now go get yourself some good credit. So then this lady wipes off the lunchbox, like dusts it off with her fingertips, like just dust
And
it off.
hands it back?
Yes.
No.
Hands it back to the baby. And then the kids just went to school.
At least have your own lunchbox if you're gonna have drugs. I am upset. I'm actually upset.
I'm upset. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people doing drugs with their kids in the car. Smoking weed, doing other drugs. I've seen people shooting up with kids in their car. It's
I mean,
crazy.
obviously addiction is very difficult.
Sure.
Kids involved. It's a hard line. It's a hard line for me. It's terrible. It's so scary. It's so
Mhm.
scary. Did he say anything to you about drugs? Like any suspicion?
No, none. I think I even asked that because I normally ask, like, is there a history of cheating? Is there a history of
Drug
abuse? And is there a
use.
history of
Yeah,
like alcohol
addiction.
and drugs and addiction? And so that's one of the things that I really try to ask. And so I feel like there was just no indication of that, which is kind of interesting. But for you to just like, this is like Lisa Frank, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not, it's whatever.
It
And
makes
so,
sense why she thought she'd get away with Bologna-ing a car. She
yeah,
was like,
because
"This is
she's
gonna be
high as a kite
great."
and crazy as a bed bug. That's why.
Yeah, she's like, "This is a very good idea for me to do this right now." It makes more sense.
So then she gives the baby back the lunchbox. The kids get out of the car. They put on their backpacks. They go to school. Okay. Like you couldn't have done this at home, like after you drop the babies off. No.
Well, now I'm like, what is she gonna do next?
Yeah. So she sits in the car for another 5 or 10 minutes and she's
Why?
just piddling around in her purse, like just not doing anything substantial, like just being stupid, killing time. So she leaves and she goes to the husband's workplace, drives by. She slows down by his car. Then she leaves. His car is there. He went to work this day. The next
So
day,
you haven't been as in touch with him today, correct?
right? Because we said like let's see what happens, and if she does anything crazy again, then I'll call you. And he's like,
I
I'll
mean,
make myself available. Like he
because if
wants to
you
go to
called
work.
him, right? But if you called him when that was happening, I feel like he would have like flipped a lid.
Oh,
and
100% he would
rescued
have
his
flipped away.
kids.
And so here's the thing with that. So I'm not a mandated reporter. So when it comes to that, like, could I have gone when I told him what had happened, like, then it's up to him to say, "Yeah, I wanna call and report this," or whatever.
Mhm.
So, do you, like, go into the school and, like, rush into the school and tell them, like, "This is what's going on?" That's up to him. So,
I
I
feel like
tell
if
him, like, what's going on, then it's up to him to kinda
right.
decide, if he wants to.
Also, if the kids were, like, in the car with her and she started driving away, that's one thing, but they went into school.
Yeah, so they had left the danger zone, I guess, and so then it's like it's really tough, and I was still really new, so I kinda still didn't really know what to do. All I knew is that
Oh,
it was up to my
yeah.
client to decide that, and I felt better after because after talking to the attorney, they're like, "No, I'm glad you didn't say anything." So she leaves the school, she goes to the ex-husband's workplace. She drives by his car real slowly. She kind of stops in the parking lot, leaves, goes to the new wife's workplace, drives through the parking lot, stops at her car, does a circle in the parking lot and leaves. And then she goes home. So now I'm documenting that she is going to his workplace, going to her workplace, stalking and stalking.
Stalky, stalky.
And now she's also on drugs. And so I called him and I told him what was going on. And she didn't do anything for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Here, I'll ask it. What
Okay.
what did the husband say when you
He was surprised, but he wasn't like, "What? No way." He was like, "Oh my god, what?" Like, it was almost like,
disappointment?
"Okay, I knew she was capable of that, but I didn't realize she would do it with the kids in the." It's the vibe that I got, like, man, like, he was like my kids, like, around my kids, so I don't know if she had this, like, drug problem before or if it was just because the kids and he was just, like, baffled that she would do that on the Lisa Frank lunchbox.
It's so wild and sad. It's really sad. I can't imagine finding out that that's what's happening when your kids are, like, on their way to school. Oh my gosh.
So meanwhile, the attorney had asked him to tell me to send the video right over. So I document everything. I wrote up a report real quick. I sent over the video and they did end up filing that emergency injunction to show like this is what she's doing with the bologna. No big deal, right? But now she's doing this with my kids in the car and
Mm,
that's probably don't do that if you're trying to keep custody of your kids.
yeah, I think
And she would have had to fight him back and say, "Nuh-uh." Like, how do you say "nuh-uh"? Like, it's on the video. Do you know what I mean? And she had nothing to
exactly.
say that he was a bad dad or whatever. So, the only thing that they were able to do was file the emergency injunction and get those kids away from her, like, stat.
Yeah,
And
did they
she
that day? Do you know?
yeah, it
Okay,
was the
good.
next day, and
Okay.
they met her at the school, and they were able to meet her before the kids got out of the car, like, they were able to just take her and do everything and get them off school property, move them to another area, and, like, take possession of the kid not possession, you know what I mean?
Ugh.
Like, take the kids and get them to safety, and she was charged with drug charges, she did have drugs on her. So now she has the drug charges. So not only does she have possession, but now we have proof that she's vandalizing the car with baloney, which was, I think it was just a misdemeanor offense, but still, when you're showing that you're trying
Doesn't
to
look
be a good
great.
mom, you're not baloneying cars.
No. No.
So he ended up getting custody of the kids because obviously, and she still had, from what I understand, like she was still able to
Like
have,
visitation.
she ended up getting less custody than she had before. So she had 60-40, and now it went to like 70-30 for him or something like that.
I imagine they also put her what would she have to do? Some kind of rehabilitation?
Yeah, like you can't just get your kids back if you're on drug, like, but it's just so hard when you think about what parents are out there doing around their kids, it kind of breaks your heart and you just wonder what else are they doing? What else are they doing when you're not doing surveillance on them? And as many times as I see people doing drugs around their kids or doing illegal things around their kids, it's like, man, that kind of
That's only
sucks,
when you're
you know?
looking.
Yeah, and that's
I
only when you see them. And
know.
to be clear, if there's a crime being committed, and especially when children are involved, I'm not a mandated reporter, but I'm also not an idiot. Like, I
Yeah.
will, if a child is in danger, I'm going to call, period. You might not hear me admit it very much because, a client wants to hear that we will be discreet and have discretion and not say very much. But you gotta remember who you're talking to. Y'all know me. You know what I mean? Like, y'all know by
Right.
now I'm not an idiot. Like, I'm not a mandated reporter, but I'm also not an idiot. And I also love the baby so much. So
No, and no kid is deserving of they didn't choose to be involved in this in the slightest
yeah,
is
no,
the,
and
like,
it's not,
thing, and
and
that's
like and they're little babies. Like you're talking like 6 and 8 years old. Like that's little bitty babies. That's not fair.
to disrespect Lisa Frank in that way
Lisa Frank.
as well. Although Lisa Frank does kind of look like an acid trip a little bit, but
100%.
still, there is a line. Not that line. This is a very intense case to have so early in your PI career. Would you?
Oh, you're telling
I
me.
mean, I'm curious what that made you, like, moving forward after that. How did that change you as a PI? And then looking back, do you think you would have handled it the same way? How do you feel now?
So, okay, so in the beginning as a PI, the first year as a PI, I was so scared to get too close and to get busted because you think that everyone knows you're there. No one pays attention. No one knows you're there. I mean, very few people do because everybody's just minding their own business. They're on their cell phones. They
Everybody,
talking to their
yeah.
boss, their whatever. And so nobody's paying attention most of the time. But then the second year, I was like, screw this. I'm tired. I would lose everybody because I wouldn't stay close enough. I was scared. So then the second year, I was like, screw this. I'm going in for the kill. And so I was like in their tailpipe. And then I was getting busted a lot because I was getting noticed because I was so close to them all the time. So then in between those, trying to find a middle ground was kind of like this case for me. So it was like, you don't want to get too close, but you don't want to stay too far. But this was before I had learned that people aren't generally nice. Like, I was always under the mindset that, like, if you're nice to people, they'll be nice to you. So it was before that time that I learned that people are not, and they will yank you out of your car and try to fight you. And so I just thought in general, most people were nice. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'll just, if anything happens, if she comes and talks to me, I'll be fine. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. And so I was a little aggressive following her, and
You said you pulled
like,
up
being really close
right
to
next
her.
to her in the parking lot, right?
Yeah, and I still will do that, but and I thought it was smart to like kind of stay away. It was the first day of the case. So the first day when she took the kids to school and I was kind of staying far away, I didn't pull into the parking lot with her, but the second day I did because I was like, "Oh, I got to see what's going on over there." So I pulled in. And so things like that, like now I feel like I'm less self-conscious of it. Like I know that this is Grand Central Station. No one's going to notice
Yeah.
some random cars pulling up next to her. Whereas before I was like, oh my God, is she going to know? Like she's going to spot me right away. Like, no, she's not. There's 30,000 other, like, what, do you know what I mean? It's not as noticeable. So on a case like this, where it was kind of high intensity because this guy, you need to catch him up in real time and you have to, and I'm still in training at this point. Like I'm not even a full-fledged C license, which is like you're not intern anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a baby investigator. I'm like a year and a half in, but my boss one time said, you got to have moxie.
Yeah.
And so but now that moxie and that, like studying people and their habits, like now my gut is solid.
That
like I can tell you what
femtuition.
somebody's going to do. Yeah. I can tell you what somebody's going to do before they do it now. Like, because you just start to learn the habits of people
Yeah. Like
and how they function. So it's really interesting.
I feel like you did it then, which was great. Today, maybe you would have gone into the parking lot the first day, just knowing that you are like bound to find something.
I'm less scared now.
And then the fact that she was doing something that put her kids in danger, was that the first time you saw a parent do something like that? And did that change the way you see people on your cases?
I don't know if that was the first. I've seen it a lot over the years, but I don't know if that was the first time. Maybe it was the first time. But I was just, and I'm like, in general, you just think everybody is just normal. So when you see people doing things like that, you're like, no way. Like that's like, no way. And so just to see it with your own eyes, you're like, huh? Like what, you know what I mean? Like you can't believe it. So it's crazy.
Well, that's us listening to your stories now, and you have them that have built who you are today. And I think, you joke about like, oh, I don't trust anybody. And it's true, but there's a true, like, I think you actually have a pretty balanced look at it where you have gotten to a point, from my outside perspective, where you can be healthy and cautious and realistic about what you're facing while still being able to like connect with the good people that you attract. Because I could see you going through cases like this and just being like, I'm not leaving the house anymore. I don't have any faith in people. And
you lose your faith in people, and that's exactly it. Like knowing that this mom, like if I saw her just in a grocery store yesterday with her two little kids, I'd be like, oh, there's Mama Bear with her two little kids. She's making ends meet. She's doing the thing, whatever. But just to know that that same woman could be the woman that's snorting coke off her kids' Lisa Frank lunchbox while taking them to school and is sending her to like just dusting it off with your hands all willy nilly. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, you just don't realize. And so when people are like, my judgment of people, like, oh, that's a nice looking family. And it's like,
You never
no,
know.
I always just assume that I'm like, you never know what's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
I think that, like, also, you're in a school parking lot and you don't have tent on your windows. Like, let's have some and like the park, it's Grand Central Station. There are people that can see you. Are you dense? What are you doing?
It's amazing the things people do, and it's amazing she got away with it for however long she did at all. It's so sad.
I'm grateful that the dad and the new wife were willing to surveillance isn't really cheap. You're talking like 100, 150, $200 an hour,
Plus
right?
divorce and custody battles in general, even if you don't have to bring in a PI.
Yeah, and now
That
he's
is
paying the attorney,
horrible.
which I mean, good thing they had decent jobs. Like, they weren't rich by any means, but they were like, we're gonna do this. We need to fight for these kids. And I feel
Mm.
like in Florida, it's usually like a judge is normally like, let the dad see the kid, let the mom see like they want to do 50-50 as often as possible. But that's not
Yeah.
always best for the child. Like, but they don't do the thing where like the mom always gets the kid. But
Yeah.
usually when they did the custody agreement, like, he said everything was fine. Like, he knew that she was a little bit batshit, but he didn't think that she would go to those extremes. And then whenever she started saying that she wanted more custody and he said no, that's when she started acting a fool. And I just think it's kind of crazy.
I guess I hope that she cleaned up and got to a point where she could have a healthy relationship with the kids in a safe way because it's best for them, but I'm also glad that you were there to catch her.
Well, and to just to be able to document it, because so many times people have been they say this is happening, and they're like they can't prove it. And the one thing that would help them is if they could prove it. And a lot of times they just can't prove it, and that really sucks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, but and
But
it's
you
like, but you
know.
can't justify it, you can't prove it, and they just want to be able to prove it. Everybody knows that's the truth, but they just can't prove it, and it sucks.
Also, it seems like a lot of times they think they know.
Yeah.
Like he knew she was keying the car and vandalizing things, but he didn't
He
know
didn't know
the drug
nothing about the
part.
drugs. They didn't that was, I think, a bonus for him, and I think that's even worse than the vandalism because when you're
Totally.
on drugs, number 1, you do things that you might not do if not on drugs, but number 2, what if your kids get a hold of those drugs? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's
And she was not hiding them.
no,
Doesn't sound like
it's Lisa Frank, like,
people get into
hello?
all kinds of things.
Crazy.
One time, my friend's dog found the gummies. Wink, wink. The dog was fine, but the friend had taken a gummy as well, so I had to drive them both to the
Oh,
vet.
no.
And in the vet, another guy was there. At one point, he looked at us. He's like, "Oh, your dog get into the weed too? Same." And we were like, "What?" And the people at the vet were like, "Yeah, this happens every weekend. Like, it's
Uh,
very common."
uh,
So hide your legal drugs from everyone, including dogs, people.
that is so one time I was dog sitting for my mom's little dog, and I had this bowl, like this this crystal bowl from some Williams Sonoma or something I had gotten for like a wedding gift, and it had this beautiful like potpourri in it, the kind that looks like mulch, and it was this beautiful potpourri, and I had it on like the underneath my entertainment center, and her
Uh-oh.
dog ate some of it, and I was like, "Mom, your dog is acting like high. I don't know what's wrong with him." We had to take it to the vet, and he's like, "Did he get into drugs?" And I'm like, I've never done a drug a day in my life. I didn't know what drugs look like. I'm not interested." And I was like, "No." And the vet totally thought that we had given this dog drugs. And I'm like, "Never."
You're like,
But
"No."
I
It
thought the
was just the
dog was
potpourri.
dying. It was crazy. And it was just the potpourri.
That's good to know. Did he smell good at least?
Right?
All right. I mean, I hate to be like, if you guys are doing drugs, hide them from your kids, but like, just
If
don't
you're
do
doing drugs,
that.
please stop.
But also, this is like, we're joking, but obviously it's very serious. And I'm glad the kids are okay
Yeah.
because, jeez Louise.
It's it kind of makes you mad too because like you just want to kind of yank her out by her hair and be like, "Bitch, what are you doing?"
Yep. Yeah.
But now I
Okay.
always wonder
I
when
hate
people
it.
pull into the parking lot instead of the car line, I'm like, "Oh god, what are they doing?"
Yeah. You're like, if they have a Lisa Frank lunchbox, there's the
Don't
tell.
don't trust
Or
it.
Oscar Mayer bologna.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Also, the
I know.
Bologna-ing of the car is still making me kind of laugh /
I wonder, you
cringe.
know what? I haven't even looked it up if like bologna, let's see, bologna
Let's do
eat
it.
paint on a car. While it's a common prank, it can cause damage. Preservatives and acids in the bologna can react with the paint, potentially leading to stains, discoloration, or bubbling, but it's unlikely to eat through the paint, as some believe.
Oof. But what if you wanted like a cute polka dot design?
Right.
Could you use bologna to kind of do it?
But if you do
No,
it to
I don't think so.
yourself, it's not really a crime. So it's whatever, right?
It's just an art project. Yeah, that's so funny. If
I
you have
just,
ever had your car bolognaed,
we need
or
it.
if
I need details on that.
I also want to know if anyone, the Oscar Mayer car, the one that is literally shaped like bologna, like a wiener, and the wiener
Like
car.
a wiener.
If anybody's ever driven in that, slightly unrelated, but I'd like to know what that was like too. And if
Yeah,
that's
if
still
you've
a
ever
thing.
driven in the wiener-shaped Oscar
The Wienermobile.
I'm dead. Oh my god, that's so funny.
This was a lot. That's a tough one, but it worked. I'm glad it worked out. And I think
Yeah.
we have a little more closure than normal, which is nice. You know where they took the case next and could be relatively confident in your evidence. You didn't have to testify or anything, right?
Nope, there was no testify. There was no none of that. I imagine the judge was like, "I see what's going on here. Say no more, fam." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that defense was like, I'll just throw this in the trash, I guess. There's nothing you can do.
And I think this is a little bit of an aside, but I just want to clarify that this story and our conversation, like drug addiction, is a whole other conversation. And we have a lot of empathy for the struggle that this woman may have been going through. And I think like we can separate that, and that's a real struggle, and also
Yeah.
talk about the severity of the situation for her kids, like impact over intent, like.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, thank you for always bringing the tea.
I'm sorry that sometimes there's no closure, you guys, but we did get good closure on this one, so.
Yeah, and also that's life, baby.
Yeah, that's God. I couldn't imagine like being the new wife also and being like, "Oh, what have I gotten myself into?" But
No,
she really
literally.
loved him. They really, they were doing good together, and they were having a baby, and so of course they wanted to make sure the baby was safe,
Of course, no, clearly, but definitely she had some good stories for her girlfriends, I'm sure, for her group
100%,
chat.
can you imagine? And now
Oh,
her baby's like
man.
almost 20. That's crazy.
That is crazy. You were saying it, you were like, this was 19 years ago. I'm like, oh, long time ago. One of your first cases too.
One of my very
mom
first ones. Oh my
doing the
God.
worst. And look at you now. Well, I'm excited for more. And I want everybody, it's been last week was technically our 2-year anniversary.
Can you
What are
believe
your,
it?
I
Wow.
can't. Tell us your favorite Mackenzie Undercover episodes.
Yeah, what's your fit? Like, what's your like? Oh my God, no! Oh, I'm just these stories are freaking crazy. Oh my God,
I know. I'm like still processing this mom doing coke off the Least Break lunchbox. Anyway, join
I wanna
Patreon
hear
if you
your
want to vent with
story.
us.
Yes, and these stories like this, we really especially like to share on the Patreon. So join the Patreon. It's $5 a month, $9 if you want the ad-free experience.
That's right.
The girlfriend experience. I'm just kidding. That's not a thing. I'm just kidding. We're not soliciting. SEX.
Jesus, the
Kidding,
money
kidding.
shot, the
Kidding,
girlfriend
kidding. Just a joke.
experience.
Stop it. Everyone chill out. It's a family show. Not really, but kind of. Anyways.
Oh, and also just a tip. Sorry, now you've got my brain there.
Just the tip.
When you join Patreon, make your account on your computer. If you join through the Apple App Store app, sometimes it like charges you
It'd be tripping.
Apple App Store app. So just
Yeah.
make sure you do it on your computer. Once you've made your account, you can use the app. But yeah, do that. Get some merch. Go check out the merch.
Today's
Let us
the
know
last
what you
day.
like. And comment and share and review and tell us everything you think about all these stories.
Do it. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the Dating Detectives and being here and listening to our show. And if you have any stories that you want to send in, send them to us. Yes, boys can too, although guys don't typically share their stories, but you can. You are welcome here also. Anyways, our email address is investigate@thedetectives.com. datingdetectivespodcast.com. Send us your stories and join us on Patreon. We'll put the link in the show notes. And as always,
Trust your intuition. Bye, y'all.
Bye.